What's up guys, Pedro here with Syzygy Coffee, and today we are going to talk about the pros and cons and the difference between buying whole bean coffee versus pre-ground coffee. Now I can save you some time. Instead of watching the entirety of the video, I'll tell you right off the bat that the best thing you could do is buy whole bean coffee. Now throughout the rest of the video I'm going to explain the reasoning why, but hopefully by the end you'll notice that it is much more important to get a grinder rather than get a new brewing method. Perhaps you're on the fence and trying to find a new Chemex, a V60, a French press, or perhaps even an espresso machine. And if you don't have a grinder and your plan is to always buy pre-ground coffee, then I can tell you right away, drop all that notion and invest in a grinder first, and then build your way up to buying new brewing methods. So let's get started. So let's start off by talking about pre-ground coffee. So it is very convenient and it's perfectly fine so long as it is freshly ground. If that's not the case, then I would suggest you considering buying a grinder. And this is the reason why. If you're going to consume pre-ground coffee very quickly, you'll maintain that freshness or that overall freshness from the coffee. Those flavors, that essence of the freshly roasted coffee is going to stay in that freshly ground coffee. However, if your intention is to keep pre-ground coffee in your shelf for a couple of weeks, maybe even more than a month, then that coffee is going to grow stale. Now, people buy ground coffee simply because it is either convenient or they don't have a grinder. And that's fine if you buy freshly ground coffee and you intend to use that in a very short period of time. I'm talking 2, 3, maybe even 4 days. That's perfectly fine. But if your intention is to keep a large amount of coffee hanging in your drawer for a week, 2 weeks, 3 weeks, not to mention the amount of time it's already passed in the store shelf or in the grocery store already pre-ground, then you are missing out in a lot of flavor. Whenever coffee interacts with oxygen, I'm talking about already roasted coffee, either whole bean or ground coffee, what happens is that oxygen starts oxidizing the coffee. So the more oxidation you have, the more stale the coffee is going to get. And this process in which the coffee goes stale very quickly is actually accelerated whenever the coffee is ground up. Now, the way I imagine it is a few ice cubes and the same amount of ice cubes being ground up. Which one is going to melt faster? Which one is going to interact with the air around faster and melt and turn into water much faster? Of course, it's going to be the ground shaved ice, right? So that's a good analogy. I know it's not apples to apples, but keep that in mind whenever you're buying pre-ground or whole bean coffee. The same is true with the coffee itself. Now, whenever coffee goes stale and you brew it and you drink it, it's not something that's necessarily bad, but it's something that's lacking a lot of flavors. So this is why for me, it's much more important for you to invest in a good grinder rather than going out and buying a new coffee brewing method like a Chemex or a French press or whatever, even if you're buying an espresso machine. So keep that in mind. I mean, I'm gonna get a lot of backlash for saying this probably, but even if you invest in a very cheap, like $10, $15 small blade grinder, it's not ideal, but it's gonna be better than buying pre-ground coffee. Personally, whenever we get a customer who orders a ground coffee from our website, we actually do that immediately the day that we ship it out. So we roast the coffee, and the day that we ship it out is the day that we grind it, just to guarantee it stays as fresh as possible. As you know, our bags have a two-way valve, so that protects it from the elements. So as soon as that customer opens the bag and starts interacting with the oxygen, it starts oxidizing and making the coffee go stale. So in essence, invest in a grinder. There are very good options out there. You can get a very decent and good grinder for your home, starting at like 40 or 60 bucks. I'll link a few options down below in the description of the video. But overall, that's what you should be aiming for. If you're going to be enjoying good and quality coffee, and you think about all the process that goes into harvesting the coffee, taking care of the coffee plant, selecting the green bean, roasting the coffee, you want to make sure that when you brew it, it's at its prime. And the only way to do that is if you grind it right before you brew it. If you brewed coffee in the past, one thing you'll notice is that, especially noticeable on drip coffee like a Chemex, you will notice that whenever the water interacts with freshly ground coffee, it tends to blow up in what we call the bloom. It turns very yellow, even a light brown, golden color. And that's a great sign that that coffee is not only freshly roasted, but more than likely freshly ground. And that's just something that you're not gonna get with stale coffee. So that's a dead giveaway on how that coffee interacts with oxygen. If it's already stale, you won't get that beautiful golden foam that appears on top of the coffee whenever it's being brewed. If you like the video and the different content that we are putting out, please leave a like, subscribe to the channel, and leave a comment below on what you would like to see next. We are on social media, on Twitter, TikTok, Instagram at Syzygy Coffee, and our website syzygycoffee.com. Right now we are running a special of a 10% off. If you use the code SPACE is awesome, you can set it up at checkout. And if you didn't already know, we are offering free shipping throughout the entire continental United States for every single purchase. And if you subscribe to our Syzygy Coffee subscription, not only will you get free shipping and a discount on all of the coffees of around 20 to even 40%, but we are shipping out different coffees that aren't listed on our website. They are nano lots that we don't post on our sales page, and it is exclusive to coffee subscribers. Thank you guys so much for watching. If you have any video ideas or a few questions that you want us to answer, please leave a comment down below and let us know. And as always, hope you enjoy it. Catch you guys in the next one. Godspeed.